Well, Linsay Taylor is head of community development and engagement at MEND, the Muslim Engagement and Development, one of the groups mentioned by Mr Gove in Parliament today. The organisation itself says its aim is to tackle Islamophobia in all its forms across the whole of the UK. Linsay, hello, welcome to the programme.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on.
How did you react when you had you any advanced knowledge that you were going to be mentioned today, your group, and how did you react when you heard your name?
No, so as an organisation, we'd obviously seen the leaks in the press over the past week or so about that we could be an organisation that was going to be named, but unfortunately, absolutely nothing from the government, even though we had contacted them to ask for verification and to ask for conversation around this.
Why do you think you have been named? We've heard that the new definition today talks about the promotion. Any group will be assessed to see whether it promotes or advances violence, hatred, or intolerance. Why do you feel you've been targeted?
No, to be honest with you, I'm not sure. We're an organisation that works to deliver training across many different organisations, Muslim and non-Muslim organisations. We sit on panels and discussion groups about Islamophobia and tackling hate in all of its forms. To me, the only kind of explanation is the fact that we do challenge the government on different issues and different matters and ask them to take into account the views of the Muslim community.
Yeah, I noticed a statement on the MEND website today, actually, after Michael Gove had spoken, saying that you or the group itself feels that this is politically motivated.
Definitely feels politically motivated. And we've had 3 Home Secretaries or ex-Home Secretaries come out in the last few days saying that they should not be politicising this and that it is turning it into a political issue because it's an election year and so on. And it is really important that something as delicate as and important as an extremism definition and the change of that definition is handled properly and not politicised for brownie points in an election year.
I mean, even the fact you've been named, I guess, I mean, there's been no investigation as of now, but how might that affect you? We've been Michael Gove says eventually there may be some government funding taken away or all government funding and support. Do you feel now that your group may come under further scrutiny already before that formal investigation?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It would be really lovely to know how they are going to go about this, how they are going to interact with groups like ourselves who have been named and so on. But we don't receive any government funding. We've never received government funding. So it's not going to affect our funding streams or anything like that. It may affect our interaction with some other bodies. But apart from that, I don't see the big implications, apart from obviously our reputation. Very much so is going to be affected by this. But for funding, we don't get funding from the government.
There have been in the past, I mean, the Henry Jackson Society, for example, which is a think tank, has talked in the past about how you've given an uncontested platform for extremists. And I'm looking here, some years ago, the Jewish Board of Deputies said that they couldn't work with you as a group because until they are confident, they say, that you intend to promote a positive relationship towards Jews. You're not immune from criticism, surely, as a group.
No, but many organisations aren't. But we work with many Jewish communities, as we do with all interfaith and faith communities, and have done across the board for a number of years. We also work with civic society, civil society. We work with mosques. We're open to work with many different organisations, as many organisations are open to work with us, including the NHS, police, and many other mainstream communities and organisations.
Presumably, on the face of it, I mean, there have been some groups today who are threatening to sue Michael Gove if he was to mention their names in connection with this new definition outside Parliament, where he enjoys privilege. What are your thoughts on that?
So we have, of course, written to the government asking for them to have conversations with us. We've also written to them saying that we will look into taking legal action should we be named, and we will be looking to see what the next steps are.
On the other hand, there'll be those listening to this who say, rather than threatening to sue Michael Gove, is there something you fear about a little bit more detailed scrutiny?
Not at all, and I think it's important that all organisations are open to scrutiny. But my question is, why our organisations? Why have our organisations been singled out? Why not organisations like the HGS or other organisations similar to that who are known to be extremely right-wing? also you have to look at the government themselves and the Conservative parties and some of the very, very blatant Islamophobic rhetoric that they are putting out just now. I mean, that really has to call into question why so many Muslim organisations have been named.
I guess, and he's also named some right-wing organisations as well. And I guess there'll be a lot of finger pointing now from groups saying, "Well, what about they? What about them? What about what they have said?" As far as Islam is concerned, Michael Gove said today, "Islam is a great faith. Islamism is a totalitarian ideology." Do you subscribe to that?
I mean, Islamist is a term or a definition, is very ill-defined and kind of a catch-all term, which is used really to smear any kind of Muslims or Muslim organisations which engage in politics or engage politically whatsoever. And we're very much so against that term. I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, words matter, and the way words are defined and used and having proper definitions for words are important.
Just to end, the very area in which you work, presumably you come across views of all kinds, and I presume just fundamentally as a precursor to the next question, you agree with Michael Gove that there is no place for extremism, and we take that as read, do we?
Oh, without doubt. There's no place for hate in our democratic society of any whatsoever, but we need to all be able to voice our views, whether they're the same views as the government or not the same views as the government. It's the very basis of a democratic society.
So on that, just on that point then, does MEND as an organisation commit to report anyone to the authorities they deem to have extremist views that you've encountered during your work?
I have to be honest and say I've never encountered anybody with extremist views who during my work. Most of my work is done with, as I've said, police, with the NHS, with mosques, with different organisations, and I personally have never come across anyone.
And you're saying MEND as an organisation has never even unknowingly dealt with anyone who may have extremist views?
I mean, there's always the chance that anybody could have dealt with anybody with extremist views. I mean, we just have to look at the government with the ex-Prime Minister saying about women wearing niqabs looking like letterboxes. Also, we've heard the donor for the Conservative Party recently, just the other day, coming out and saying about an individual who is a Labour or was a previous Labour MP should be shot. I mean,
and that's been called out, and we could be here all day engaging in whataboutery, and that is not me defending anything that's been said in the past, because all those people who had said those things have been called out. It's your organisation that's under scrutiny today, and I was just keen to know if you have knowingly or unknowingly has come across anyone who you would deem to be extremists in the past, and if you would report them to police. But you're saying it's an unequivocal no.
No, if somebody had come out and told me the same as a Tory government donor had said about somebody needing to be shot, I would definitely be calling that out.
Linsay, thank you. Linsay Taylor there from MEND, one of those groups named by Michael Gove in the Commons today as